stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon. It's almost 3:30 already. All right. It's probably a good thing for a lot of people, huh? I do know this. I have too many tabs open. I have too many tabs open. Let's get rid of some of these. Gone, gone, gone. Yeah, we don't need that. Don't need that. I'm gonna keep that open though. That's something I want to read up on. My therapist shared it with me because I was talking to her about, as a lot of you probably know, my wife's ex-husband passed, and I went to my son and said, your job right now is to take care of your wife. That's your job right now, because it was her dad. Hey Ingrid, good to see you. I'm glad I caught you during your day. I know it's kind of hard right now. Been a hit or miss lately. Um, and I told him your job is to take care of her and her needs and whatever she needs, and my job is to take care of you. So you're not alone in this. I got your back. I'm right downstairs. Whatever you need, you just tell me. And I kind of see the relief in his eyes. But she brought up what was called the ring theory. So I'm gonna kind of share this. Let's take a look at this. It's quite interesting. Um, the ring theory is a psychological model that helps people support others who are experiencing a crisis. It is also known as the circle of support. So you identify the center. In this case, that would be my daughter, my stepdaughter, which is my daughter. Draw a concentric line. So what it is just making sure that each person has a ring around them of people that can help, right? So what would my ring be? Well, my ring would be, not my wife in this case, because she's going through it also, but my friends here, AA, my sponsor, my therapist, my friends, Pastor Marcia, Ingrid, who's here, you know. Sorry, just a comment from a friend, and I gotta say, I really appreciate having a good therapist. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'm your host. Yay! If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching live or the rewatch. Um, but I mean, she understands that I'm just trying to become a better person. Um, and she helped me understand a few things today, which really helps me out. Um, I was kind of, there's something going on with Adams County, kinda, and I said something that kind of triggered them. And the way I took it was they were saying that I'm an abuser too, but that just it didn't seem right. Um, and what my therapist pointed out to me was, you know, and I did make an amend. Of course, it was the first thing I did. Because if I hurt somebody's feelings, I make an amend, whether it was intentional or not. It's the willingness to change afterwards, right? And she's like, Dion, she was being pretty vulnerable with you. I'm like, oh shit, oh shit. She's being vulnerable, and what does that mean? Well, it means that she trusts me, and she's bringing it up because she also knows that I'm a person who wants to change, who wants to do better. So maybe it wasn't easy for her to write that back the way that she did. And so I was able to look at that differently. Right. So, there again, it shows proof in the pudding that just because I'm thinking of it a certain way doesn't mean it's correct. The other thing, because I was trying to figure this out, and let me show you this form. I know I'm doing some weird stuff, but it kind of tells you. It kind of tells you. Here we go. Okay. I got to go back and do some sharing here. He was sharing on the topic of disease. All right. So here is the meeting form for grassroots, right? Well, they have types of meetings, right? And here's the different types of meeting. Now, I understand why LGBTQ would be on there because there's a lot of groups that um that aren't that they're just we'll just call it they're assholes or whatever, right? Or they're not as welcoming and things like that. And I want to mark this one, but then everybody would think it's just LGBTQ. And I'm like, how do I take care of this? And what it needs to say is LGBTQ friendly, so that it doesn't matter who you are, that, and the other thing that it does when I do that is it'll keep out the assholes. So, but there's not a thing to do that. So I'm going to ask, I'm going to write central office a letter and ask, hey, can we, because if you go to DACA, I'm just going to, and I'm showing you all this because you might be able to help me out with it, right? So here is the DACA page, right? And if I go to find a meeting, and let's just, let's just hit this one. Okay, you see how it says discussion, in person, newcomer. This needs to expand a little bit to give an idea of what the other people, what it is. I wonder what they're open meetings are available to anyone interested in non-alcoholics. See, they shouldn't even say non-alcoholics. It should be, yeah. Anyway, who cares? But see how we could change this. Now, if it said all this, and LGBTQ, people would think it was only LGBTQ. But if I put the friendly behind it, so let me know if I'm on the right track with that, if I'm off the right track. I'm just trying to be more open-minded about how we say things to people and stuff. I'm trying. We even talked about pronouns and stuff, and I finally figured out when it came to that, because I'm scared of it, and when I get scared of it, I get a little mad. I don't like being scared, and so I figured out, there's what I see online is not what's happening out there, and that if I do make a mistake, even in that situation, that is okay to apologize, correct myself, and move on. Right? Yeah. Then I remembered that, people tend to tell me things they don't tell other people. So, try to find a little bit more patience, tolerance, kindliness, love. I just don't want to be a closed-minded old man. I don't want to be that. We covered several things, and yay for therapy. Yay for therapy. All right. So one more person would show up because they're like, I need a break. Hey Daryl, it's good to see you, man. Good to see you. You're up? It's 3:30, man. It's early for you. Up a little early today, are we? You okay? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, I have a granddaughter over, so she wanted to. Guess she wanted to be around Grandpa today. Her other grandpa. Daryl, I don't think you know the news yet. Well, you might have, but Shannon's ex-husband passed away. So, and we've got. Oh God, this cat is so needy. Thank God they land on their feet, right? We do the best that we can each day. Hmm. And what does it really mean? You know, noon. Oh yeah, the noon meeting. Oh, you got up at noon. Good job, man. That's progress. No, that's good because I know that you haven't been getting in much sleep. So I'm glad to hear that you're at least getting some sleep, man. That's it. That's important. Um, Speaking of the noon meeting, we had our noon meeting today. There were four of us total, and the meeting went like an hour and 20 minutes. So it was pretty good. It was a good meeting, man. I kind of sometimes I like those small, intimate meetings. Um, there were a lot of people looking for their home group, and I'm trying to. It isn't so much being like, well, this group is good, but no, it's just providing figuring out what the needs are and helping provide that. So, um, cool. What does it mean to do your best each day? Good job, Daryl. Good job. I was kind of wondering about that. Um, you know, that can be a dangerous thing. You just don't get it. You got to be the dumbest cat I've ever met in my life. Well, no, I met another cat dumber than you. He just doesn't take hints very well, and he thinks that he can just jump into my lap whenever he so chooses. No worries, man. No worries. We're gonna do it again on Friday. Um, Another person said, "Hey, I'm willing to help chair on the noon." I just know that there's a lot of people in Colorado on Zoom anyway that's looking for a good online meeting that they can call their home group. I've been having a hard time finding a home group where I feel like I fit in. The group's going to grow. Um, yes, I do have expectations when it comes to meetings. I'm going to just say it, but they are reasonable expectations. Like everyone is welcome. Like everyone is welcome. Things like that. But this was more of, hey, if I can't find my own home group, then I'll make my own. Then I'll make my own home group. It says how, and I just take the directions in the big book. So it says here, thanks, brother. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. He was a good guy. He was a good guy. We're not a family that just because he was an ex that no, we don't do that shit here. Even when I was drinking, I was not like that. I wasn't like that. Um, you know, there was a child support order, and he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Okay, and yes, he had schizophrenia, and you know,
Hey, Grandpa,
yeah, honey.
can I go into the upstairs?
As long as they're okay with it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I love you.
Yeah, I want to see the kitties.
Oh, the kitties. She has her priorities straight. Um, oh, but yeah. She's like, should we, because the court ordered him to pay child support, but we just lied and told him he paid it. I'm like, no, dude, we are not going to report that he's not able to pay it because then they're going to take away his driver. They're going to take away his passport. Then they're going to take away his driver's license. They're going to demean him. And then if it goes on too long, they're going to put him in jail. And I'm not going to put him through that. No, no. So we wrote it off. And I'm not saying that so you think better of me. I'm saying that because that's how we should treat each other. So, all right. To do your best each day means to put in the maximum effort and focus you can on whatever tasks or activities you are doing throughout the day, striving to achieve the highest quality work or performance possible within your abilities, even faced with challenges, essentially giving your full attention and commitment to each moment. Gosh, it sounds like an awful lot like live in the moment, like a day at a time, right? Not not all days am I able to do all 12 steps. I'm not able to do that. I I I will not admit that I practice the principles with the utmost 100% assurance. That does not happen, right? Um, oh, but this was a much different situation, dude. He was it had nothing to do with being a deadbeat. It had to do with mental illnesses. But I understand that because I was a deadbeat father for quite some time. So I understand that. So um but this sounds an awful lot like, a day at a time, living in the moment, doing the best to our ability right now, right? Because it's not going to happen any other moment. I think Amber forgot I was going live. Oh, okay. She's like, yes, I'll jump on. But she's at work. So she'll get here when she gets here. Actually, I think she's here now. There's somebody from YouTube here. No, no. Two of them from my homepage and one from the Daily Trudge. Uh-oh, the Daily Trudge one, it's either one other person or we're gonna be seeing some posts about mushrooms. Hopefully it's Sam, right? So giving commitment to the moment. So living in the moment, okay? Um, what I've been trying to do, because I notice that sometimes, a lot of times I'll be in AA meetings and a Zoom meeting, and I'm doom scrolling on Facebook, right? So I've tried to take it and maybe I'll just start turning off my screen. Maybe I'll attend meetings on my computer so that way I won't do that. That way I'm in the moment, right? Um, I certainly can't do that when I chair. I'm a lot more involved. I have things going on. Um, but paying attention while somebody listens, I think is a pretty big deal. Okay. And I try and listen. I try and listen because I might get indicators of how I can help or be helped. I believe that when God answers me, He answers through His children, but I don't get to pick which children that happens to. So I gotta stay open minded. That's the attentiveness that we're kind of talking about. Being in the moment with somebody and listening. Have you ever been talking to somebody they're like, it, it happens all the time in in the parking lot meetings, right? Happens a lot, which isn't the best example because that's just you get excited about the meetings, you want to talk afterwards, right? Um, but when you're talking to somebody and they keep I'll just shut up. I'm like, go ahead, just go ahead and say what you need to say, and I'm going to listen to them, okay? And then I'm going to continue on with what it is that I was saying. Or I'm going to say, hey, give me a second to finish. Please hold that thought because I do want to hear it. I do want to hear it, but I want you to hear what I'm saying also. That way, this is a conversation, not one-sided giving opinion kind of a thing, right? Usually, I found that people, when somebody is doing that, is because they're excited about what you're saying, or they have a very big difference of opinion, right? Now, why am I saying that? Because I was a person that did that, or if you said the wrong thing, I would correct it. And I don't do that. I do my best to not correct people anymore. It's quite often people misspell and things here, and I know what they mean, and I don't correct them because it's just like, am I just, it's just Dion trying to feel superior. That's all it is in his head. Okay. So, if that's what I'm getting out of it, then maybe that isn't what I should be putting into it. Effort over outcome. Yeah, can't worry about that outcome, man. No, but what we would call that expectations. Oh man, I forgot to get pour some talking juice. All right. Got some right here. Ouch. Ow. Ow. No. Hold on. It's almost gone. All right. You ever? Yeah, we all know what happened there. It's called drinking too fast. All right. It'll happen more as you get older, by the way. Just so you know. Effort over outcome, right? So, this would go a lot with I don't really learn anything from the success itself as much as I did all the failures that came before that success, right? And when I'm involved now, then that certainly helps. Personal standard, your best is relative to your own capabilities and circumstances, meaning it can vary depending on the situation. Whew. But what are the situations? Number one, my attitude. My attitude might be one. Um, is it? Yeah, it's been. I'm gonna do you. It's been weird going live lately. There's just been some weird things happening. Uh, Facebook seems to be screwing up feeds, is one thing that I've been hearing. The other is YouTube not allowing you to type certain words. And I don't appreciate those two things. We are we're America, and we have freedom of speech. Okay. But there are certain words that they tend to flag, like bombing. When you get a bomber, can't say that here. I don't know if Facebook does it. Don't try it though. But someday, there's been times when we talked about bombers on, about the meetings and stuff, but that's not how they take it. So, um, you know, it's quite often that I have to go back to steps 1, 2, and 3. I call it back to basics. And sometimes I'm just having a back to basics day where, and I don't think that has anything to do with time. You know, it's just some days, are harder to get through the day than others. But even then, you do your best. And what happens is you go to bed at night knowing that you put in every effort that you could to make the day at least a little bit better. Okay. The key there is not making it worse. You can always start your day over too. So what does all this add up to? Well, it adds up to continuous improvement, is what it says here. Okay. Or for us, getting better or making progress. Right. It encourages a mindset of always striving to learn and grow, pushing yourself to do better each day. Um, don't avoid doing the difficult things. Do things that are hard, man. Challenge yourself. Um, I know that as we get a little bit older, we tend to settle into who we are. Um, but like I said earlier, I don't want to become the closed, old-minded man that isn't listening to anybody because he thinks he knows the right way. I'm finding out just how every day I find out just how naive I am about the world, man. What? What? What do you want? You can't have my attention all the time, dude. You just can't. Okay? Mwah. Well, okay. All right. It's like, did you touch me again? All right. What does it mean when someone says, do your best? When a person urges you, do your best, they're encouraging you to put all your effort and attention into the task. Whether or not you are naturally excellent at the task, or perhaps due to a lack of experience or specific knowledge, reading in meetings. Reading in meetings. I know a lot of people. I'm sure Daryl could attest to this too. You don't see as much now, but when I went to meetings in the 80s and 90s, there were a lot of people that didn't know how to read. and we would teach them how to read. Yes, we would. Okay. Um, do not be afraid to read just because it takes you, you know, I'm a pretty good reader, but I did a lot of studying to become a good reader. There's other things I'm not good at, but I will challenge myself even in meetings to do that. What's up, sweetie?
If I like to follow your plate, your cat will stop trying to trip me.
Which one?
The orange one.
Oh, Jack. Yeah, he wants attention. He won't leave me alone either.
Here was being thoughtful.
That jerk. Don't you hurt my granddaughter. Come here. Come here. All right. Let's just give him love. He's just going to keep asking for it. Well, what I'll do is give him over attention here. Huh? Yeah, that's so cute. I think she's finding reasons to come in here, which is fine with me. Right? Let's get something else here. What do you mean by doing your best? Doing your best means working on the right amount to sustain the balance that keeps your mind, your body, and your soul healthy. So, I really don't know that I have much more to say on this. So, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Can you get out all by yourself? Good job. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. It was good to see. It was always good to see my friends. I hope you have a fantastic day. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.